profile
Right.
picture or something
Right.
like that, right?
Mhm.
So when you do something along those lines, it gives you the capability to crop and pick a portion of the image you're talking about. The other reason we don't provide specifics on graphic size is because with modern web browsers are oftentimes, like when I look at it on my screen, it's at a very different
Yes.
size
Got
than
it.
when you look
Different.
at it on
Okay.
your screen, and
Got
it's a
it.
very different size than when you look at it on a phone and so on and so
Okay.
forth. So
Okay.
there actually isn't, not just with Obvio, with any platform that is mobile responsive, a set of resolutions that you should be using.
Okay. So you showed me how to change the background, but I didn't see how to change the logo on
Just
that
hover
thing.
over the logo, you'll see a very similar gear.
Okay.
And you click that, and same idea, you click remove and upload the new image.
Got it. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Jeffrey, what's your question? Let's unmute you and allow you to, you should be able to share screen.
Okay. And so then let me also pull it up here, which let's see here. Should be here. Okay. So yeah, I have a number of questions. I've written them down. But I also wanted to just say that from your call yesterday with Blue, when somebody had asked you the question of, what are the first several things that they should do? And you said, build your list, build your list, build your list, right?
Yeah, it was actually 5 things, and
But okay.
the other two were also build your list and build your list. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for correcting me on that. Appreciate it.
I just wanted to make sure that you didn't miss a step, Jeffrey.
No, I have to kind of really get that down deep. Yeah, I got that. I'm a financial advisor, and I've decided my right fit clients are going to be those who are doing estate planning, like you can see here. And so I recently joined my county's estate planning association. So it immediately gives me access to about 250 top professionals. So so that's kind of progressing. So they don't really know me or what I can do, whether that be courses or coaching, or what I've focused on, which is communication. So what I decided to do is to establish the relationship would be to run it's going to be a 10-week, like it's just a 15 minutes a day in the morning, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And it'll cover various topics here, which I've fleshed out. So I'd asked Grant, and he'd said, yeah, I could run an ongoing kind of like a course, but this is sort of like a course. So it'd be over a period of time. So I'm designing that. So that's a little bit of background.
Okay.
So just kind of starting with some basics here. Like, I don't think I need more buttons than that for this. Would that be correct?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I would probably have the button be less about the date and time and more about the action that they're taking when they click it.
Okay, now I could change that every week.
You can.
But by this, okay?
Yeah,
So
you can also change the you can also change the countdown timer every week as well, right? So as soon as one event ends, reset the countdown timer for the next week.
Right. Okay. Okay, great. Good suggestions. Okay. Now on this, when if I put it in, oops, sorry.
Hey, Mom, go. Okay, I know your name today.
So, by the way, if my background house sounds a little excited, we're in Florida. We're south of the hurricane, but a tornado just blew through here. Okay.
Wow.
And so my daughter's sort of excited in the background there. So I can't control everything.
No, listen, calmly excited too. That's impressive.
Well, we've been through a lot of hurricanes, and so we're a little bit probably not correctly so. A little bit, yeah, be a little bit blasé. So that's
I have the same issue in South Carolina. I hear you.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, now, so I'm just going here to do preview, okay? So if I do that and I hover, it turns black when I hover to click on that. And I went to, let's see, if I go back here,
And you don't want it to?
well, I wanted to do different colors.
Okay, great.
So,
So go
so-
back. Let me show you how to do that.
okay,
So scroll down and hover over the button
yeah, you gotta go to
and
here, the
click on the
gear,
gear. Yep.
yeah.
And
And
click on
right, styles.
styling up at the top and scroll down. And right now you see the check mark next to customize hover background is selected. And then right underneath that, where there's a little black bar, if you click on that, yeah, right here, this is the customized background. So if you want to change it to a different color, you just click on the color, the little black square, down a little bit, down,
Here,
that.
yeah.
Yep. And
Here, black square, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And now select a different color. Or if you have a specific color that you want, you can type in the hex code for it.
Okay, well, I'll just put something in for the moment. I will play around with it later. But let's see now. How do I then make that?
You wanna select. So that's the hue, but
Oh,
if so, once you do that, you're almost there. So just click on that, click on the bar hue, like to get to the green, like you'd done. And then in the larger square above it, just click in the area where it shows the right color.
like that. Okay,
There you go. Now click save.
here.
Yep.
Okay, so
Click save one more time. And now hover over that button. There you go.
okay, great. Okay, beautiful. Well, okay, so I'll figure out what color is right for that. Okay, so so you said, okay, I could change what that says every week for the subject. That's great. Let me just look at my notes again here. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. So now how do I link this to the Zoom? If I
All right, so
recall,
scroll down a little bit more. You see it says join area. Click on that.
where's that joint area?
Up a little bit, up tiny bit. Right there. Stop. Down
Oh,
to the right.
joint area. Okay, right.
You
Okay.
got it. And click on that. And now click on the actually now just click save. That looks like it's the right one.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Now that was linked to coffee and conversation. Did you want it linked to meeting room instead?
Yeah, I want the meeting room. Yes.
Okay, so
Right.
go back into that same gear and
Okay.
scroll down. And now that you have join area, click on that drop down arrow. Down, no, the one below it. No.
Oh, here.
Yeah. And click meeting room.
Oh, okay. Meeting room. Okay.
All right, now click on downloading a resource, the one that you clicked above, the pick an action.
Right here. Okay.
Yeah, and change that back to none, which is right up at the top.
Okay.
Or it's at the bottom, sorry.
Okay.
It's hard to see because
Right.
somebody made
Yeah.
the really dumb decision of moving the config panel to the left, which is stupid.
I think I can make it large here.
Yeah, you can,
that,
but that's not helping because again, somebody has done something
Okay.
that I'll use
Okay.
a bad word for. Go ahead and click save.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. So okay. So then if I go back up here to preview, okay, and if I click on, for example, speakers, it goes back to here right now. Now I know
Right.
that
So in order to it's probably set correctly. In order to see it the way you're wanting to see it, you need to log into the dashboard as an attendee. Now, how you
how
would
do I
do
do that?
that? How you would do that is by clicking on the attendees tab on the left-hand side.
Okay, attendees tab, which is down here, right?
You got it. And just go ahead and click that.
Okay.
All right, now click add attendee because we're going to create an attendee and just call it, Jeffrey Wright or White, whatever makes sense. All right, now click save.
Okay.
And now click on the attendee.
Okay, here, okay.
And up at the top where it says login URL, click on the round icon. Yeah, log into attendees dashboard. Now you have the waiver and the well, I turned off the password, but you have the waiver step turned on.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to scroll down and sign that waiver.
Okay.
And click the checkbox that says I, Jeffrey White, agree. The checkbox right above it.
Oh yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
All right, so there you go. Now, if you click on speakers, it'll
Okay.
take you to the right spot.
Great. Okay. All right.
And then click on home and that'll take you back. Back to the dashboard anyway.
Okay. And now from here, is there any way to go back to where we started so I can go through anything, or do I have to
click on the
go
tab
on?
right there? There you go. Yep.
Okay, that one. Yeah. Right. So now save on that, right?
Sure. Yep.
Yeah. Right. So here, okay, so we're back in here. So I go back up to design, right? Okay. We look at my notes. Great. That's really helping me here. By the way, I
Awesome.
think I'll be back. I'm not going to take us all the way through this, but it's a great start for me. Thanks. Okay.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Oh, okay. So here, okay. So we're not in preview anymore. Now here, now I tried to get rid of this. That's from a previous dashboard that we'd set up. And
if you just click remove down at the bottom, does it not work?
I tried that before and confirm. Well,
There you
how
go.
come it works with you, Blue?
Oftentimes, Obvio, it's actually sentient. You may not realize that. We have created a unique AI tool that knows when I'm present.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That's why you call it Obvio, huh?
Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think that's all I want to do right now. But I'll definitely be back at you probably next week on this. I'll try to just play around with it a little bit more, but I super appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. And any time, just come on back and ask more questions.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Great
All
work,
right.
Jeffrey. That's you're diving in and you're just making it happen, and that's the best way to do it. It's like you have a event that you're working on, and you just keep pushing through and write a list of questions and come back, and that's why we keep making this available every week. So, well done.
Well, thanks, Grant. I mean, I have to admit that the technology is intimidating to me, but I'm learning to live with butterflies in my stomach.
Fair enough.
It should come
you're doing
easier
great.
given the fact that you live in Florida.
I should be just indifferent to this, right? I mean, I've got hurricanes, tornadoes.
Yeah.
Why should I worry about technology?
It's a little bit of rain. What's 160 miles an hour? Jesus.
Especially among friends.
Exactly. Well, stay safe, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
All right, our next question is from Tom. He's doing his first Obvio with Go High Level. He wants to know if you have any tips or guides on how to do it.
Hey, Blue.
Hey, Tom.
Thanks for running the storm warnings on the TV behind. It makes us freak out, so that's really good.
You're welcome.
Oh, now it's a kitty cat. We're good. So yeah, I finally had ConvertKit down, got it all nailed in, and Danella's busy running her 3-day event, so I got to get my next strategic alliance event going. We switched to Go High Level. Yep. I followed the steps to integrate it, and I'm just wondering if there's any particular things I need to know about other than the integration things.
There's a couple things with Go High Level that are a little bit different than the other services. Number one, once you select your tag, that is your import tag, or actually, sorry, with Go High Level, Obvio gives you an import tag that you have to use,
I
right?
saw
So
that.
you can't customize that. From there, there is, and once you've selected your tag, your create, your waiver signed, your checked in tag, and your login URL, and you've clicked save, there's one more thing that you have to do, which is toggle on the sync up at the top of the integration page.
But
Once
not
you
until it's set up in Go High Level, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Once you've done it in Obvio, now you can turn on the sync, and then as you add people to that tag, they'll be brought in via the sync.
Gotcha.
So you can turn it on in advance of the, like, as long as it's done in Obvio, just because your contacts don't have the tag yet, it doesn't matter. From there, the other piece to know that's a little different than ConvertKit is Go High Level. We pull a list of attendees every 10 minutes from Go High Level. That's the primary difference between that and ConvertKit. With ConvertKit, when you add an attendee to a tag, they push that attendee to Obvio, and the action takes place fairly quickly. With ConvertKit, we pull the information because of how their API is designed.
Okay.
So it can take up to 10 minutes for an attendee to get added.
That's really helpful to let Danella know that. You just saved her a lot of drama and me by extension. So thank you.
Yeah, it is really the biggest, especially for people coming from ConvertKit or Keep or one of the platforms that does push information the way we need it. But yeah, with ConvertKit, there is that. HubSpot has the same problem.
Cool. Love it. And then just one other practical one I've been meaning to ask this: speaker and sponsor.
Mhm.
Can we change what they're called? And
You can change the title. You can change all of the text that links to those pages. The only thing you can't change is the URL address itself.
that's no problem.
So you can, we have clients who do this all the time who will, they'll have two speaker pages. One is the speaker page and the other one is the sponsor page, because the speaker and sponsor pages are very similar.
Yeah.
So they may put like the primary host on the speaker page and then the guest speakers on the speaker pages, on the sponsor pages. But yeah, you can do that.
And we can rename it and one of the gears, I assume.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to want to make sure, yes, you can.
Awesome. Thanks, Muddy, for sending me here, buddy. Oh, you won. I put a panic post in Leap and he said, dummy, just go to the Obvio call. It's starting now. He didn't do the dummy part, but I applied that.
Well, I mean, listen, it's just, I got nothing. I got nothing.
So appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no worries, Tom. All right, Heather, what's next?
Bent wants to know, is the Zapier integration for ClickFunnels Classic or ClickFunnels 2?
The Zapier integration, the way you're asking that question, it actually is dependent on ClickFunnels, not on Obvio. So I know the Zapier, I know ClickFunnels' classic Zapier thing works with Obvio. And I believe ClickFunnels 2 does as well, since they released their Zapier integration, which happened more recently. I have not set it up myself personally, but I believe it does work.
All right. Timothy says, how do you use Obvio to host a webinar?
Yeah, Timothy, it's, the differences between hosting a webinar versus hosting a challenge or a summit or a multi-day event, the process is pretty much the exact same. The only difference is you only go live for an hour instead of for 3 days. Now, there are a couple of things that we usually do more as best practices when we're hosting a webinar on Obvio. We try to make it as easy as possible for people to get in. One of the things that trips most people up when it comes to using Obvio for complimentary events is they're used to, when they're using what we call vanilla Zoom, just being able to send out a Zoom link and people click on the link, type in their first name, their last name, their email address, and they're in. Whereas the dashboard was created in such a way where the user has to log in order to get onto the dashboard, which means that the user has to be registered inside of Obvio in order to get onto the dashboard. So, you know, it's important to use the login URL. That's the easiest way to do it. But for free events, it's also why we created the sign up page. So if you enable the sign up feature, you can actually share the sign up page link, which is a branded, it looks very much the same as the login page, but rather than just an email address and a password, it asks for first name, last name, and email address. And then when you click the button, whatever you decide to call it, it allows the user to sign up for the event without paying. So keep in mind that sign up feature really only works for complimentary events like webinars or, you know, free challenges or launches or stuff like that. The other thing you could potentially do is you could create an opt-in page using the marketplace system for your webinar. So you could create essentially a sales page for the webinar. The way the system works, the way the marketplace system works is you are technically selling a ticket, but you can create a $0 webinar registration ticket and have them purchase that. Now, the system is smart enough to know that when you assign a free ticket to the ticket selector, it doesn't ask for credit card information. And in fact, if you only have a free ticket, you don't actually even need to connect Stripe to make it work, which is new. That's something, well, relatively new. That happened maybe a month or so ago. So those are a couple of things that you can be thinking about in terms of getting or hosting a webinar on the platform.
Appreciate it. Does it have a counter that comes up as well? Like, so that it shows you how many people are on the webinar, or can you like leak that part of it?
So once you get in and you're actually broadcasting for the webinar, that's in Zoom. So you'll see your participant list. If you're wondering, is there a way to see how many people have signed up? There is. You can go to the statistics page of your event, and it'll show you how many attendees you have, which is, you know, easy enough.
And do you recommend doing a webinar where you're actually interacting with the people, or doing it like Barry did, where it's just boom, 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 high pace for 60 minutes, and you're not really, it's not like a virtual live event, right?
I would say to you that if you're doing if you're doing it live and you have the capability to, then I would probably interact a little bit. Okay. You know, I would say, you know, hi to specific people, like, hey, Catherine, great to see you. Jeffrey, you know, looks like it's raining behind you. I hope you're not in Florida, you know, stuff like that. And that would, you know, I think that just helps to engage the audience. So I probably would if I was doing it live. Keep in mind, Barry didn't, because she wasn't doing it live, right? That was a pre-recorded webinar right from the get-go.
Yeah. And then just quickly, I took your advice, like get involved in Obvio and learn it, right? So that if your man leaves, you have some idea of what's going on. So I'm showing up today for the first time.
Awesome.
So the first thing is for me to start to train myself up on Obvio. I think that question was asked already. You go into that course and start and then playing around.
Exactly. I like I said, I would do that. Just watch the first one, because the first one kind of gives you a foundation. It's like it's the structure of how Obvio works. Because if you just log in for the first time and you see an organization page, you're like, what the F is this? How do I, how do I get started? Well, I want to create my event. Well, how do I go? And, that first video in that onboarding workshop kind of gives you a decent overview of the platform, and it'll give you a good starting point.
Great stuff. My 3-day event is November the 15th to the 17th. So we're running webinars every day for a couple of weeks.
Awesome.
And I built out the Obvio platform with your help. And I have a list of things from Laura on what to do there. Next week on the 6-week program is the Obvio week, where you're supposed to be building it all out and everything. Is there any lesson on how to really set it up and prepare it for going live once, because it's built out, but I think there's a few things that Laura said I need to do to, like make it right, basically.
Yeah, I'm curious what those are. If you're not sure what to do, what I would do is I would grab that email. And the reason I say I'm curious what she sent you, because she didn't really use Obvio. So I'm guessing she gave you something that either myself or Grant or Heather wrote at some point.
Right.
So I would just say, hey, listen, I have this list. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And we can show you the specifics. It's pretty easy.
Okay. Last one is I'm all in on ClickFunnels. How does Obvio, can I move off ClickFunnels eventually and just move fully into Obvio at some point? And how close are you to that, etc.?
Yeah, you can probably do it today, but if I was you, I wouldn't do it for the event that's coming up in 6 weeks. So now keep in mind, when I say you can move off of ClickFunnels, you can move off of ClickFunnels for certain things for your event only, right? And especially, are you using ClickFunnels Classic or ClickFunnels 2?
2.
Okay. And are you using ClickFunnels as your email delivery service? Like, are you using ClickFunnels as a full CRM, like a full platform, or are you using ClickFunnels as just the page builder?
We're using it as the full platform, and we just integrated from ConvertKit over to that.
Got it. Okay. So what I'll tell you is the next native integration that we're working on, or we're starting to build out, is going to be for CF2. I don't know exactly when that'll be done. My hope is mid-November, but that's kind of out there. In the meantime, you are going to need to get your attendees from ClickFunnels into Obvio. My guess is the easiest way to do that is going to wind up being Zapier, or you can do a manual import, kind of like what we were talking with Sharonda earlier today. So if you want to have it be automated, I would say, do you have a Zapier account?
Not yet.
Get yourself a Zapier account, and you can hop on this call and we can do a quick walkthrough with you of setting up ClickFunnels 2 and Zapier and Obvio to all work together. So when somebody registers for the event and they purchase your ticket, they are then created as an attendee in Obvio.
Okay, great. Oh, she all right?
Rosie?
Cone.
Yeah, she's been licking her butt. She's got a hot spot, and we're trying to make sure she stops licking her butt. And unfortunately, she's not happy with us. I will tell you that. She
Oh, this is Rosie.
Yeah.
Rosie, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking you weren't talking about Barry.
No, Barry is not licking her butt. Thank you for that.
Okay. Okay, good. Just clearing it up.
Aussie humor.
Yeah, Timothy, I didn't know whether to say g'day or bonas.
Yeah, no, I'm from New Zealand originally. Yeah.
Oh,
Get
there you
it?
go. Well, do you know what? Your Kiwi accent has rounded off. You did have
Yes.
me guessing. You did have me guessing there. So that your vowels have really broadened.
Yes.
They're not as sharp as a typical Kiwi accent.
Yes, mate. Thanks for all of your great work here. I'm looking forward to diving in and mastering this. It's going to be great.
Awesome.
That's really cool.
Thank you so much, Blue. Thank you, Grant.
Yeah, most welcome.
It's good to have you.
All right, Heather, what's next?
Jeffrey wants to know, for participants, can I set a universal password for all of them, assuming they would sign in with their email, correct?
Yes, you can. So you can do two different things. One, under the event settings page, if you click on events and you scroll down, you've actually already set a universal password called Dragon Slayer. So that's that. You can also allow people to make it a tiny bit easier. You can allow people to sign in to the event with only their email, which you may want to do. And you do that just by toggling this on, this allow email only login, and clicking save. And now when somebody goes to your website URL that hasn't logged in, they're just asked for an email address that they registered for it with. Now, Jeffrey, remind me, was this a free event?
It's a free event. It's again,
Yeah.
what it is it's a marketing method for me to
I'm good.
communicate
I'm
who
good.
I am.
I
Yeah,
got you.
okay,
I
all
just
right,
want to. I
all
want to
right.
show you something else that I would probably do if this was a free event.
Yeah.
I would enable the sign up page. Okay. And by enabling the sign up page, when you go to the login, now not only will it give you the option to just log in with your email address, but if somebody either forgets what email address they used to register, or if they just haven't yet registered, they can click sign up and they'll be able to actually log in pretty easily just by entering their first name, their last name, and their email address.
Great.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right.
All right. Right now we don't have any additional questions that have come through.
Okay.
So do you have any updates that you want to share with us?
Outside of the fact that somebody made the really stupid decision to realign the config panel for the left-hand side, no, not at all. Not in this moment.
Well, this was a great call.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not quite to the end yet. So, Franklin, you've still got a little bit of time until you throw in a question right at the end. It's nice to have you here. We established last week, Blue, that there's a bunch of people that just hang out just in case there could be some life-changing question and answer that they
awesome.
wouldn't want to miss.
That's awesome.
I have a newbie question if I can ask one.
Yeah,
Is it
please.
what kind of beans we recommend when you're buying an iMac? Is that the question, or?
Yeah. No.
No.
So I already have Mastermind, so that has a CMS, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, I mean, the new
and
version of it does. I believe it does. I'm not 1,000% on that, but I believe it does.
so I'm just confused on how those all work together. And is that explained in this one or on their thing? How do I do that part? I haven't figured out how it works together and what to do extra.
Yeah, so I haven't logged into Mastermind. You're talking about was it BMC or something like that? Is that what it's called? Business
Yeah, MBS,
MBS,
Mastermind
MBS.
Business Systems. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the new version of mastermind.com, the one that you're talking about, is hosted on, or it is a custom implementation of Go High Level. So what you would need to do, or where the connection points come in between mastermind.com and or MBS and Obvio, would be if you are selling your tickets on an MBS sales page, or you're registering your attendees on an MBS page. You would then tag those attendees in MBS with a specific tag that Obvio gives you. Now, how you do that is by going into your event and you go to the attendees section, and then you click on services. Now, at a glance, it's not going to look as though MBS is supported by Obvio. However, MBS is Go High Level. They're the same platform, essentially. So you're going to click on the Go High Level icon, and that's going to ask you to authorize Obvio to have access to your account. And when you get that window, you use your MBS login credentials to give Obvio access to your MBS account. And at that point, you're then going to get a tag, a very specific tag that you use to tag your attendees in MBS. When a person goes to the sales page that you build in MBS, and they sign up for your event or your free webinar or challenge or whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that in MBS they're tagged with that specific tag. Once they are, MBS will say to Obvio, hey, we have a new attendee. And Obvio will create that attendee inside of the attendee system. And it will then write the login URL for that attendee back into MBS, into a custom field. Now that's important because when it comes time for your event, you're going to want to send out the link to the event from MBS to all your attendees. And you're going to want to use the custom field that stores the login URL to do that, because each attendee has their own unique login link. So what I would say, Catherine, is once you have your sales page built in MBS and you're ready to connect Obvio and MBS, hop onto one of these calls and you can share your screen and we can walk you through it. It'll take less time to actually walk you through doing it than it did to explain it. Cool? Awesome. Muddy.
I have a question about using an embed code to show video. So on the dashboard in a blog post, you can show a video. The video has to live somewhere else, and you can use the video tool and just drop the link in, or you can use the HTML button and put in the embed code provided by the video provider, let's say YouTube in this example. Now, when that embed code comes in, part of the text of the embed code shows the width and height of the video. And so you could adjust the width and height there. But my question is, can you change the width and height from pixels to percentage? Could you put in 100% width? And will that be the reason I ask is because the risk of having a defined width and height doesn't allow that video to be more responsive.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I wouldn't. I'm gonna let Grant answer this one because he actually does understand code. I'm gonna say my short answer would be that I know that you can put a responsive embed code onto the dashboard. I just forget how to do it.
Yeah, you can. So, Muddy, it's the reason that we have created that easy video insert tool for the most popular Vimeo, YouTube, Wistia, anymore.
Membership.io. Yeah,
Membership.io,
searchy. Yeah.
Searchy, yeah. But all it's doing is it's wrapping in exactly what you're talking about, responsive code. And the thing is that it's not as simple as 100%, 100%, because firstly, 100% is, I'll try not to geek out too much, but firstly, 100% height doesn't work very well generally, right? Like it's confused as to how to do it. When it does work, it's not keeping the ratio correct. So when you want, typically you're wanting a 16:9 ratio, right? If you do 100% height, it's going to fit it to the height that's there, and you end up with a very wacky size video. So the way that that's handled is actually by putting another container that is restricting its height to maintain the ratio. Yeah. So it then becomes actually like a calculation.
Box within a box. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a calculation that's done based on 50% and margins and all sorts of trickery that makes it work. So where you get that code from, it's interesting. I've been able to get it sort of from Vimeo. Actually happens to have, and you can choose whether you want it to be responsive. And YouTube used to have this as well. You had an
YouTube
option
used
where
to
you
have
could say
lots of
you
parameters you could choose within the code, within the embed code, but I don't think they do anymore. At least I haven't seen them lately.
So they do exist, and what you would find is if you looked for a responsive embed code for video, you would find one, and then you would simply replace the actual URL within that
URL,
and because all of those embed URLs of the actual video are responsive in themselves, right? So they will fill the window that they're given, and so as long as you do it that way, then it will be responsive. And Obvio, the container window that blog post is sitting within sits nicely right up against whatever template you're using.
That's helpful, and I understand that, and I can imagine if I had to use that. For instance, some of the live streamed videos I shared in a past call, some of the code that it's giving or the link that it's giving me wasn't working right off the bat, and so I might use the embed code if I wanted to. And the source of my question is that there was a question asked in the Obvio YouTube or Obvio Facebook group today about the code wasn't working. Justin showed him how to how to put the code in, but the code wasn't working for them. So he showed him the embed code, and that worked, but the video was smaller than the other one where the video button did work. And so I suggested changing the width and height, but part of me was asking, I think I remember in the past using percentages instead of, so anyway, that was the root of my question. So that's helpful. If I have to do that in the future, I'll look up embed code for YouTube that is responsive so that the container itself is responsive. So
exactly. Cool. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Just an extra caveat, I guess, is some providers, this goes for lots of embed codes, will provide just a very basic container, a div container, and then a script, a JavaScript, separate JavaScript, which is handling everything else. And now we can support that, but the key to that is that just the div goes in the blog post, and then
And then you
the
put the rest
script,
of it down at the bottom.
exactly. You put the rest down in the HTML at the bottom of the page, and now it all works. So that's the slight caveat on that. And sometimes embed codes for videos, depending on the platform, are provided like that. So particularly when there's
Cool.
extra analytics and things that it's tracking. So
Yeah, and you know, when I look it up, I'll look up some of those other parameters, like take off the YouTube logo and some of those other codes
right.
you used to be able to drop in that embed code.
Yeah, it's great.
To kind of change what the containers like. So
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a good question though. Cool. Anyone else?
If you look in the chat, it looks like we have a question that was just posted.
Yes, that's me. It's Sharonda. Hello. Good afternoon, Grant.
Hey, hi.
Hi. How do I turn it on to do a dry run? Like I want to practice prior to the event. And I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, cool. Great question. So the thing to remember with Obvio is the dashboard is available the moment that you have created it. So attendees, an attendee link can access your dashboard before, during, and after. As long as you have an active Obvio account, they can access that dashboard.
Okay.
The only time frame or time window that we control is when you want to use Zoom, when you actually want to launch Zoom as a host and have attendees join.
That's
And
what I'm
that's
asking.
where, okay, great. And that's where the event start time and end time on the event setup.
Can you show me?
I sure can. Yeah.
Thanks.
Event settings is it's what we're talking about.
Okay.
And there now is no restriction on that time. And so you can set that. Let me show you here. So I've just gone to event settings, event and then settings, and then just down here, so you have your event time zone,
Right.
that you choose, and then based on that time zone, when would you like the window to be able to use Zoom? And so you can set that. It needs to be slightly in the future, like 5 minutes or so into the future.
Okay. Okay.
When you first set it, and then your end date. Now you can see that we got a little trigger happy and put our end date at 27, year 27, because we're doing this every week and it just keeps going. This is the event that we're in right now. So once the current time is inside that window, then Zoom will work and function as normal, as it will for your event. If you're outside of that window, Zoom still works.
Grant, I don't know how to get from Obvio to Zoom.
Okay, great. Cool.
Yes.
So
thank you.
Let me step through that bit. So
Okay.
we've already got, let's assume now that we're safely in this window of time. Now we're going to go to our Zoom areas.
Right.
So have you been to this section at all?
I have.
Okay, great. So then once you've created, you've got one Zoom area, and that will have one Zoom room in it, as in a Zoom meeting. Once you go there, then you'll toggle open room and hit start.
I see. Okay. And is it because I don't have any attendees in that room that I'm not getting the other information down here, the join?
Yeah. So this is the actual meeting that we're in now. Let me go back and go to one that's not open. Right. If I was to look at the tech check, you'll see here, this is what it looks like. We happen to have two rooms in this area, but if it was just one, we would simply hit open and it would say start. That start will launch Zoom and you will be the host.
Oh, so I have to toggle the open on and then
Yep. That
and then I
sets up
can
the Zoom
start.
meeting, make sure it's all good. Then you'll hit
Got
start.
it.
So then
Okay.
the only other step to allowing people to enter
Mm-hmm.
is this one here, is opening the area. So this is like it's an extra gate that we use. It's like the waiting room,
Sure.
but like a Zoom waiting room. But
Mhm.
what we like is being able to control that and to call it an offline page. So if this is off, when
Mhm.
people click a button on the dashboard, they're going to
Mhm.
go to an offline page. It'll an Obvio offline page that says
Okay.
that it's not ready yet, and that's a customizable offline page where you can say, and that's right here. See this offline text. You can put in a
A
custom
message.
message,
Okay.
to say when it's going to start. So if people get trigger happy, hours before your event, and they click it, it'll say it's not currently online.
Mm-hmm.
What it also means is that you're able to get settled, right? You're able to start the Zoom meeting, make sure
Without
everything's
them being
happy.
in there. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then once you're ready for attendees to join, you're just going to toggle that open area, and now people will be able to join.
Understood.
And just to complete the loop, and you may have already done this, but on the dashboard is just pointing a button to go to the Zoom meeting. So here we have this one, join the Q&A call. That's our button. And just take a little while to find the config panel that's off to the left.
So on my dashboard, I
Thank you.
should say something like enter the room or main stage here or
Yeah,
something.
enter main
Okay.
stage. Yeah, we use the term main stage, but people use lots of different terms, right? Like
Okay.
this one, Q&A call or whatever. But what it is what's the function of that button? It's a join area, and then we're picking and saying we want it to go to the main stage,
Okay.
right? And
Okay.
then a nice thing to do, often even on a separate device, is
Mm-hmm.
to go to an attendee, get the create a test attendee. I'm always conscious of revealing, so you can copy their login URL,
Mm-hmm.
and then open that, and this is a true test of exactly what the flow is for an attendee.
For an attendee. Oh, that's perfect. That was going to be my next
Right?
question. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Right
you.
now we can see it. Okay, join the Q&A call. Click that. It's going to take them straight into Zoom, and so you can test that whole process.
Okay. Thank
That'll
you
just make you more.
so much.
Yeah, of course.
It's so
No problems at
obvious
all.
when you point it out.
Yeah, but it's the reason that we continue to do these calls every week.
Yeah.
Is just there's little things like that just the little piece of the puzzle that you're missing.
Yeah.
And so that's the perfect question to be asking is
Well, I'm exactly
what's
28 days away, and we've got
good.
another site that we set up to sell tickets and to promote, and we're going to switch over as we get closer to the event because now I have to set up Stripe.
Okay.
To sell tickets is like, okay, one more thing to do. But I'm
Right.
super excited, and I'm super grateful to the team who put the first site together for us in record time, so that we could get going on it. So I appreciate
That's
y'all. I
great.
appreciate this tutorial.
Yeah, no, you're very welcome, and all the best with all of that. It's funny. I think every time we talk about these calls, it's almost like we've got an event workshop which is full of tools, and Obvio is one of those. It's one of those key tools that we run. But it's like we have a shadow board on the walls of like, you have a Go high level, and then you have Stripe, and then you have, these are all these different tools that you've got to connect to make it all work. And so, yeah, it does. We try, more and more. We're trying to allow just like enable just a very basic event to be run entirely only using Obvio. But very quickly, as people grow, they need to use other tools that are designed specifically for that purpose. So that's kind of where we sit. Very cool.
And we did get a
Thanks for
couple of
that.
questions that came through.
Mhm.
So Bent said that Blue mentioned a cookie banner on the eve. Are there any updates of this? Maybe it was supposed to be event. It just says eve.
On the
There's
eve.
not an update on that. Not yet.
Okay.
But again, you know, what I would probably say is because what Bent's probably referring to is GDPR and the California Data Protection Act, or whatever the heck it's called, and acknowledging use of cookies. Currently, what I would recommend you do is I would recommend you add it to your waiver step and just enable that step. And that way, in order for people to log into the platform, they have to sign off on the waiver. And if you include the cookie information in that waiver, that should cover you. I'm not an attorney by any stretch of the imagination, but having somebody actually have to sign something that says essentially the same thing that those pop-up banners say should be good enough. And they'll only have to
Yeah.
do it once because the system is a membership site. It'll remember that unique individual has already signed the waiver, right? So they won't have to sign it every single time, unlike the pop-up blockers or pop-up banners that appear for cookies, where oftentimes if you change a device, you have to click it again. In the case of Obvio, if you use the waiver system, you'll simply be able to log in without having to sign the waiver again because the system knows it's you.
Yeah, it is an interesting one. You see every website you go to, you know, has some sort of accepting of cookies. We haven't done it because we're event based, and because people are entering, they've often entered their details before to actually get to the event. And so it's not like they're surprised that we know who they are, because we've sent them a custom email and they're going to a dashboard and it says, "Hello, Blue." You know, it's like, so we are tracking who you are because you gave us your information, you know. So, but to be explicit about it, then doing a waiver is a good way to go.
Yeah. And Bent, you should be able to unmute yourself and ask.
Just a follow-up question on that. I was just thinking that actually, perhaps it is not really needed because there is only strictly necessary cookies anyway in use, I guess.
I don't
There's-
know enough
yeah.
about this to speak intelligently. I'm gonna say I don't disagree with you, and I don't know.
Yeah, I was looking at this recently. You know, the thing is that you're trying to alert people as to what tracking is happening, specifically around multi-website tracking, right? That's what you're trying to alert people to. And this is the type of thing that you're saying on this public website that you've stumbled across. We are also using Google and Facebook and all of this. And so we are technically able to see that you came from this website and then you went off to this website, and we're able to track all of that. And even your anonymous data is able to build out a bit more of a picture of you, even though you haven't actually given us your private information. That's what it's trying to cover. For us, as I said, it's very different because we are collecting their data. And so what we're talking more about is kind of the privacy declaration or privacy policy that you have. And the reason that we haven't got a generic one is because of all these integrations and things. People can collect all sorts of different data, and if you need to have your own policy that is telling people exactly what you're doing, what data you're storing, and kind of who has access to that, and who's your data protection officer, and it goes down all these lines of what is required to comply. We sort of just dance in this little area where, as I said, people should expect they're not surprised that we know who they are because they've registered and they've come and they've given their first name, last name, and email. And so that's what we're using. From a technical point of view, we are when they first join the dashboard using the magic link, there is a cookie that's stored on their computer that ties that login to that dashboard. So that if they happen to go back to that dashboard without the login token, the token at the end of the address, it will log them back in because they have previously. So technically, there is a cookie that's being used and stored that identifies them for that dashboard. But that cookie is not shared with anyone else.
No, and it's what I mean, that it is not a problem when it is technically a necessary cookie. Necessary
Correct.
cookies
Yes.
are not under these regulations.
That's right. Yes, we're not
So-
just trying to track
Yes.
people's. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're on the same page.
Now,
Good,
the
thank you.
the flip side to that, again, not that I can speak intelligently about this, but if you were to take a Facebook tracking pixel and place it in the scripts area of your dashboard so that you can, or a what's the Google Pixel thing called? I can't remember what it's called, but either one, where all of a sudden you are tracking them. Obvio doesn't do that, but you have now made Obvio do that. So just be aware of that. If you do decide to put any completion pixels into, or tracking pixels in, or what do they call it? Google Tag Manager, GTM,
Yeah.
that's what they call it. You know, if you do something like that, now you have added that feature essentially to the platform.
Sure. Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
We also have a question from Jeffrey. He wants to know where I can find and create the link for the participant to go to the Obvio dashboard.
Yeah, you looking at me, Blue? Yeah.
I am.
So, so there's a couple of different ways that people can access, and you might have seen a couple of things as we've been showing. I just showed just then where I went to an attendee in Obvio and I got the login link, and so I was able to get that manually. That's the best way for people to get to your dashboard is by using that magic link or that login URL, because it logs them in straight away. They don't need a password. They don't need to enter their email, nothing. It just takes them straight to the dashboard as them. So it depends on how you're wanting to get that email to, that magic link to the attendee. You can use, so have we got, was it Justin, was it Heather?
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, sorry. So Jeffrey, are you using any other CRM or any other list manager or anything like that? Or are you just using Obvio at this point?
Well, I have the mastermind business system, which is going to be the go high level in there, but I haven't done anything to like link it or, put what I'm thinking for this particular dashboard. I haven't put any of the contacts in there yet. Okay. But that's what I have.
Okay. So just so you have a higher level thinking about this, at some point you're going to send an email to each one of your attendees, and that email could come from, if you have the high level connection to Obvio, then it could be sent from the mastermind system, or it could be sent from Obvio, right? And so Obvio has a basic email broadcast system built in that can send emails out to your attendees so that they can log in easily. And that might be how you do it initially. And so I can show you that quickly here. Let me show you. So if we are looking at communication and broadcasts, there's a step before that in your organization settings. You will need to add an email that you want to send from, as in it's the reply to email, so that if someone tries to reply to their email, what address do you want that to go to? And so that would be your address. And so you set that up and say, I want it to be xyz@xyz.com. That's the email that I want people to reply to if they need help or whatever. That's what it's going to come from. You set that up in your organization settings. You then come into broadcasts, and this is where you can set up an email to send. This is a name of the broadcast. It's just an internal name. Then you've got the exact send time that it's going to go out based on the event time zone. It's going to be sending at this time. That needs to be, when you're doing this, it needs to be at least 5 minutes into the future so that we can get all our ducks in a row before it sends out. So you need to plan it, and you can schedule it to go out at least 5 minutes into the future. Distribute over time is when we have a large number. It's for very large events where you want to stagger the sending of those. Then you can filter how you're sending those broadcasts or the emails. Generally, you're sending to all, but you may decide that you want to send it only to people that have not checked in. Checked in means that they've gone to the dashboard. So they've at least clicked a link and they've got to the dashboard, and likely on your event day that they have actually made it into Zoom and they're already there. People that haven't done that at all are not checked in users. And so you can do a customized broadcast just to those people. But generally, you're probably just wanting to tell everyone, hey, the event starts in 30 minutes or an hour, or as you see with us, we do these, the regular notifications to say when we're starting. So then we've got email. We also have an optional thing with being able to send out text messages. So then you'll choose an email that you've already entered in the organization settings. Luckily, I only have one. Then the actual subject for the email. So that's what people will see in their email. And then the body of the email. And in here, you can add some variables, like these are like mail merge, right? Where you can say, hello, last name. You wouldn't probably do that. You probably want to do first name. Hello, first name. Here is your dashboard link. And it can be as simple as that's it. You probably will want to make an actual link. And so you can do things like this. And what this does is when it merges, oh, I wasn't thinking. Put it here. Dashboard link. And then, oops, I'm going to go to here and create a link. And I'm going to say, make that the login. And that has made an actual link that is clickable, right? That's now the dashboard. And one other fancier way to do that is to make a button. And the button, you can say, we use the term dashboard you kind of universally, but it doesn't have, you can call your dashboard, whatever you want, right? Like it can be the event home, or there could be some other term that you want to use, access the event or whatever it is. And you could even spell it out. Click here for the dashboard, right? And so that's made the text, and then the link I want to say is I've lost our little login URL. And there you go. Now you've got a big button that people can click in the email to be able to go straight to it. So, and then it says at the bottom, how many people is that going to send it to based on your attendee list? Now, a whole other way of doing this is that you might have 20 people that have signed up to your event. You can export when you're in your attendees list. You can come to attendee tools and export, and in that export you're going to get a spreadsheet that's just first name, last name, email, any tags, any groups that they're in, and a login URL. And you could literally just copy and paste that login URL and send emails out of your own email service, and you could just do it manually. And people have done that, when they're first getting started, and just sending people their login links, and away it goes. So that's kind of the general idea. Blue was showing you before about kind of the sign up page, and people being able to join. So there is a way that you could send a generic link to everyone and have them enter their email to get into the event. So see what the difference is there. There's either a magic link that knows who they are, it's a unique link and lets them straight in, or there's a generic link that's the same for everyone, and they just have to enter their email address or first name, last name, email on that sign up page. Is that sort of making sense, or did I lose you there?
No, it's great. I'll have to practice it, obviously, and
Yeah,
I'll do my
have a
trials
play
and
around.
maybe be back at you for that, just to make sure. Did I get that right?
100%. Yeah. And remember, this is being recorded. We have it live streaming to YouTube. So if you wanted to go back over this little bit again, you can easily do that.
Where do I find that on YouTube?
The easy way to find it is to come back to this dashboard, the dashboard that you joined to get here. On there is a playlist of all of these recordings, and the video that plays first is the most recent. It'll be this one, and you could scrub through it and you'll see when I'm sharing my screen and doing that, and you could watch over this again and step through it yourself.
Great.
In all of these things too, I often think about the axiom that if it works big, it works small. And sometimes when we're getting these systems in place, if you learn the system that you want it to be, so when you have 100 people coming or 500 people coming, what is the process you're going to use then? If you use that now, then it's all there and you're used to it and it's automated, and now it's not a big deal. You want to just be celebrating the fact that you've got lots of people coming, rather than having a panic attack that you don't know how you're going to send 500 individual emails out.
So, that's great. Oh, super. Thank you so much.
No,
thank you, Grant.
Yep. Look at that. It's gotten dark blue. Daylight saving came in for me, so I got an extra hour. That didn't help me getting here on time. It should have, but it didn't. But it is a nicer time slot now.
Well, I mean, I think you're forgiven given the fact that I show up less than you do.
All right. Any other questions, Heather?
Jane, I saw you posted one, but I messaged you in the chat. Your dashboard was built the other day. You'll find it in the organization that you have. And you should have received an email from the LEAP team. I think Elizabeth sent you one with some notes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Grant, you're muted if you're talking to all of us.
Oh, I was just joking. I was like, did you put a big bow on it, Heather? So that it was like, here's your new dashboard. It's like, here's your brand new car. Welcome. It should have. We should have a bow feature. All right. Anyone
I mean,
else?
we could put the bow in the event logo.
Nice. I like it.
But yeah, that was
Mhm.
all the questions that we had that came through so far.
Okay.
Thank you.
We've pushed it to an hour and a half. We've done all right. Okay. We're gonna call it, Blue. We're gonna call it.
I mean, I'm happy to just sit here in silence.
Heather told me you had music playing at the start.
I did. I went all
I'm
out.
like, wow.
Yep. I mean, I
Must have
didn't
been
start the live
bored, I
stream.
said.
That's not my job. I don't know how to do that.
All right. Well, I think, Doctor, can we pronounce this dead? What time? We're gonna pronounce it. Nurse Heather.
Thank you guys. It's been a great call. Oh, there's Franklin.
Nice. You are holding on to a question, Franklin. You are muted. Hang on. Here we go. Oh,
No,
sorry.
I was just kidding. Just
Yeah, just messing. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I enjoyed the call. Thank y'all so much. It's been amazing.
Good work. You're welcome. All right. Well, stay safe, everyone. And we'll see you next Wednesday at the same time, 5 p.m. Eastern, and catch us at help@ovv.io in the meantime. Sweet. Bye-bye.
That's my man here.